Welcome to the Milk Bottle eCommerce Show, brought to you by Milk Bottle Labs, Ireland's top-rated and officially accredited Shopify and Klaviyo e-commerce experts. Founder Keith Matthews interviews e-commerce professionals, app developers and entrepreneurs to share as much digital knowledge and e-commerce tips and tricks as possible. This podcast is kindly supported by our go-to e-commerce tools, Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for Shopify, BigCommerce, Trello and more. Let's just say it's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever get for your Shopify store and all your valuable data. Simply go to rewind.io/milk bottle to get your first month for free. Our go-to Shopify application to supercharge in-store pickup and local delivery on your Shopify store is Zapiet. It's fully customizable and scalable from one location to thousands. Backed by outstanding customer support, it's no wonder Zapiet is trusted by over 10,000 plus stores across 150 countries. Now over to your host, Keith Matthews.
Hey folks, welcome back. I am delighted to welcome Doug Franklin to the podcast today. He is the CEO of Penny Black, which is a customer experience platform that allows e-commerce store owners create a unique unboxing experience, essentially turning your packaging into smart packaging. It's probably one of the cleverest and most innovative ideas I've seen in a long, long time. During the last e-commerce boom, Douglas realised that personalised digital marketing didn't need to end the moment the customer makes a purchase, and he founded Penny Black to fill this void. If executed correctly, Penny Black can turn the packaging experience into a retention tool, making the unboxing experience really count for your e-commerce customers. Douglas, how are you?
Fantastic. It's good to be here and thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Doug, where are you based? I sense that there's a kind of a bit of NZ in the accent, is it?
Well, not quite South African, actually.
I take that back.
I come to London, so I've been living in London. I've called London home since 2007. But originally from Johannesburg in South Africa. But my children kind of have a challenge now, right? So I'm South African, their mum's Irish, and they live in England. So you can imagine,
wow.
When in any sort of like for rugby games in particular, my son kind of flip flops between who's winning now.
So when you go to a store to buy a rugby jersey, you have to buy three.
Correct. And he just sort of like picks like who's the best at the moment.
Yeah, well, I'll gladly say that Ireland are on top at the moment, so there's probably a few more green jerseys being purchased.
They absolutely are floating around our house, like plenty of green Irish jerseys. Yeah. One South African one. He hasn't adopted England yet when it comes to rugby.
Good. Okay. Well, listen, really nice to talk to you. We were trying to organise this for a long time, and a few things got in the way. I just said in my intro there that it's one of the most innovative ideas that I've seen in a long time. So before we get into any more detail, just as briefly as you can, right, give us your pitch on Penny Black.
So Penny Black takes, it elevates the unboxing moment, right? So what we do at Penny Black is we bring in digital personalization to print media and delivering it that via your packaging channel. Right? That's what we do. And this is quite like a new way to think about how you can drive revenue through something that was previously considered a cost center, right? People previously thought, hey, I've got packaging. I send it out. That's what my goods go in. And we're transforming that into a marketing channel and a cost and a revenue generator for brands.
Okay. And would it be correct to say that it's probably one of the last areas that hasn't really been owned or seriously considered by e-commerce merchants?
Yes, I think so. And I think you're spot on, because people have been using the concept of inserts and flyers have been around forever. I'm sure you've bought something, recently, whether it be a pair of trainers or something, you get like a dog food leaflet like chucked in there, right? Just for good measure. And I think the problem is that it hasn't been digitized. It hasn't been, we haven't taken those same innovations that we see in digital marketing into the sort of the physical world, into the real world. So I think it's just lacked innovation in that space. And people have seen print media as something that you have to do once, run in batches, and it sits there, not as something that can be as dynamic as an email. I think that's what we're doing at Penny Black. So how can you have that same level of digital flexibility in print media?
Okay, so explain the current packaging experience then, as you see it, Douglas, for a standard e-commerce store.
Yes, I mean, I think it's a bit mixed right at the moment. Because when you think about customer experience, one thing customers love, right, is speed, right? They do love speed, and that's where like the players like Amazon have sort of like set a benchmark in terms of, you order something today, it's with you, in next to no time. But when that product you've ordered arrives, right, it's still in a boring brown box. Now, that isn't to say that's what all brands are doing. Some brands are investing in the e-commerce packaging, making it look more on brand. So when it arrives, it is a nice customer experience. But and I think that's becoming a very fast-growing e-commerce format. And this is important because, for many brands, as they acquire customers, this is the first point of contact they have with their customers. But even then, even when they have invested in their packaging, it's not quite maximized because, like I say, it's not personalized, right? It lacks this personalization element to it. It's still quite generic. You can't have that one-on-one conversation with the customer at the moment they're opening it. But secondly, I've seen so many examples of where the brand is just eroded by the type of content that does go into the package at that last minute. So, I was looking at a fulfillment line of a really, really luxury brand the other day, and the amount of investment that went into their packaging was amazing, right? But the last thing that happens is, before they pack the order, this like delivery slip, like it's folded on A4 piece of paper and chucked in. And so investment you put in sort of like developing your brand is almost eroded at that last moment. So whilst there's good speed, that's great for the customer. And while there is still some investment in packaging and making it be on brand, it's not perfect yet, and there's still room for improvement to make it digitized and more on brand.
Yeah, but Doug, does the drive towards recyclable materials and sustainability, does that kind of block or restrict certain brands? Because there's a big push in the States at the moment, even for some luxury brands that would have average order values of $500 plus. It seems to be kind of cool to wrap it in newspaper and have recycled packaging which isn't in any way attractive. Is that affecting it, do you think?
No, the move towards more eco trends is spot on, exactly what we play into, right? Because I think what you've got to start transforming this packaging into isn't just waste, right? It's got to have purpose, So if you are going to communicate something within this package, make it something that something that the customer actually wants to receive. It's not something that's going to go straight into the bin, right? That's the key. This isn't something that just you pick up and you throw away. So that's the first thing. But the other thing that we lean to here is all about consolidation, right? Why have a number of different pieces of paper go into box when you could just have one? So where Penny Black supports brands is to you can put your delivery notes with some marketing communication on there. So now you've got this well-designed delivery note and marketing communication. So you've got that we play into. Also, the way we work with the technology, we're reducing down the number of printers fulfillment centers have to use, the types of printers fulfillment centers need to use. We work with really innovative print technology to reduce the energy level. So the way we're working with fulfillment is really good. The consumables we're using are eco-friendly. How we think about the packaging with purpose is what sets us apart in terms of makes that package not just waste. And finally is we're removing waste. So if you think people that do use sort of want to include anything in their packaging, they'll normally send off a print order for 5,000, 10,000, 100,000 prints. 2 days later, something changes in the world and they go, oh, hang on, just bin all of those. Because it's a print-on-demand service, there's no waste, right? It's only when you want to print something does it go in.
Okay, just 1 second, Doug, and we'll just stop to listen to our sponsors. Rewind.io is the leading data backup solution for your Shopify store. Did you know that there is no way of recovering lost data in Shopify? If your store is gaining traction, you may have multiple staff or third-party developers entering your store. Mistakes can happen and data can be easily deleted. Rewind.io puts you in control of your data, allowing you to restore anything accidentally lost from a single image to an entire store. It acts as a pretty cheap insurance policy for your Shopify account. At Milk Bottle, we help clients reduce their business risk by installing Rewind in every single store before we make any changes. Get your first month for free by simply replying to your sign-up email. So Doug, you've explained the current kind of packaging experience, and then which as a result is going to define the unboxing experience for the customer. Explain the mechanics of Penny Black and how it works.
Yeah, the way I define Penny Black is, we're bringing together three really unique innovations, and we stay on top of three really unique innovations. One is, customer first marketing, right? The second thing is working with fulfillment. And the third thing is print innovation. So we bring in these three things together within our solution. So the first way Penny Black works, right, is we integrate with your customer data. So whether that be through your e-commerce store, like Shopify, or your email marketing system like Klaviyo, we integrate with those tools and we pull all the data from there to allow you to create hyper-personalized segments, the same way you would create segments for any email marketing campaign. And then we integrate with your fulfillment center. So where you distribute your products, whether that be your own internal fulfillment or you use a third-party logistics provider. So that's the integration layer of it. In terms of creating campaigns, like I said, the way the technology works, it's kind of like you would create an email marketing message, right? So you would set up a segment, work out what campaign you wanted to go to that segment. And as soon as somebody in that segment makes a purchase, we will send them a campaign in real time to the printer at the fulfillment center. And that print is then included in the package at the moment the packer is packing it. What's then great is each of these inserts are personalized, but they also have a scannable QR code that brings the customer back in to the digital journey. So, and that's where we can track and attribute what they do next, whether that be another purchase, whether that's subscribing to your loyalty program, whatever that might be. But that QR code brings them back into the digital channel and allows us to track and attribute what they do next. And of course, we then have some other data that we can fire to your other, the other tools in your stack, whether it be a SMS marketing tool or a loyalty program. We integrate with all those tools too to provide a well-rounded view and share data amongst your marketing stack.
So the first thing that came to my head there was the printer. Let's say I'm running a Shopify store and I have a fulfillment center. Do you have to provide a printer in that fulfillment center to provide the service?
Yes, so that's what we do. That's part of our specialism, right? And I say, our investor, one of our investors and partner is a company called Agfa. And I don't know if you know of Agfa or not, but they're large, they're at the forefront of print innovation. And we've been working with them to develop and find the right printers for the right use cases to go into these fulfillment centers. So that's our innovation that we then deploy into fulfillment centers. And we manage as a service as part of the product.
Okay, and then does that slow down the pick and pack process then inside the warehouse?
No, absolutely not. Because I think this is the great thing about the solution. Because when we speak to fulfillment centers, their view, and I'm sure you've heard it, is speed. Speed is the key focus for fulfillment centers. But they also know, when we speak to more and more of them, that customers increasingly want personalization. So they are looking for ways to deliver at speed whilst delivering personalization. And that's what we focused our innovation on. So the short answer to your question is no, there's no delay. So we are able to make sure that the print comes out in line with the pick and pack process. So it's a final, as they just closing the box, the print's there ready for them to put in.
So Doug, if you look at the omni-channel, it's the connection between online retail and bricks and mortar. But you've actually created another link between the actual package and the systems, let's say, that the customer has. Is there a word to describe that, or is this new?
Yeah, one of the words or phrase that we've been thrashing about internally, and let's see how it resonates with you, is phygital, right? We're calling this
I heard of that for the first time about 2 weeks ago. So please explain.
So this isn't necessarily omni-channel, which is tracking the customer through all the different stages of their journey. Yeah. This is taking something which was previously physical communication and making it digital. That's what we combining these two things. So something that, and it's got loads of applications beyond, by the way, just the unboxing moment. And our roadmap is getting really exciting in terms of some of the new services we see emerging from this. But what we see is anytime a brand would have previously engaged with their customer with a physical media, we can apply this technology to make it digital, to make it hyper-personalized and trackable.
Interesting. So do you see yourself as a software company or a marketing platform, or is it the same thing?
I think, we're a software company that provides marketing services.
Very good answer. I noticed on your website that, like any good piece of software connected to an e-commerce platform, it's very clear that a certain percentage of the customers scan and potentially repurchase, and then they're taken back into a Klaviyo flow, that it's going to increase conversions and ultimate store revenue. Do you have any examples, Doug, that you can mention of a brand which used it and actually it was transformative in their business?
Yeah, so we've got a good spread of customers, but there's one that stands out to me. It's one that we've been working with for quite a while. Is a brand called Paul Valentine. It's a luxury German jewelry brand, and working with them, first of all, they're just a pleasure to work with as a brand, because hugely innovative in terms of what they do and the way they think about marketing. And they've been instrumental actually in advising some of our roadmap. But their challenge was, I think most brands will feel this, seasonal sales, like people buy stuff and then they sort of like shop and drop you, after the seasonal promotion's over. So how do you move these one-time or occasional shoppers into someone that comes back and again? And we ran a number of different campaigns with them. But the upshot of it all, should I say, is what we can hand on heart say with what we delivered is for every insert sent, they were making over £2 in revenue back, which is just been a phenomenal success in terms of how it works. And not only in terms of that, but also when the people are making the purchase. So I'm not saying, by the way, email and SMS aren't effective, but they've got like really strict attribution periods. Yes. Like with SMS, it's 48 hours, emails a week. But what we're seeing, the data coming through our system, and this is true across all the customers we're working with at the moment, is people are engaging weeks and weeks after they've received that parcel, and that's telling us that doing something well designed that goes in the package, that's personalized. People aren't just throwing it in the bin. They're picking it up, they're sticking it on their fridge, they're referring back to it if it's got some know-how on it, like tutorials or something, or they're waiting until maybe their payday comes around again and then they can, make the purchase. So we're seeing the benefits aren't just that right now, but actually this sort of like extends your attribution period.
I think one of the first questions that most e-commerce store owners will ask is there a minimum order value? Do you measure a customer based on the number of SKUs, number of orders, revenue, turnover, number of staff, whether they have an external fulfillment center, whether they have a dedicated team? How do you measure or how do you size a good fit for the product?
Oh, great. That's a good question. I think it's about volume. I think volume plays an important part in the maximizing value out of the technology. I'd say, at a minimum, you want to be doing about 5,000 orders a month to see the value coming back. You can't come from it'll just be a different type depending on what you want to do. But I think where we've seen the most benefit is that 5,000 upwards is where the.
Okay, that's good. Doug, I was introduced to Penny Black, I think it was in February or March of this year. But my understanding is that, are you 12 months old, maybe a little bit more than that?
A little bit more than that. So we were founded in sort of like April 2021, but here's the shameless plug, right? But despite our sort of like young age, we're making some real accelerated progress. I think we've completed 2, and depending on when this gets aired, hopefully 3 fundraising rounds. So that's showing that people are believing in
well done.
This. We've won the eCommerce, which is the equivalent to the UK eCommerce Innovation Award, and we've just been nominated for the UK eCommerce Innovation Awards. We've managed to partner with some huge multinational companies, like I mentioned, AGFA, who really help us take print innovation to the market, and then Radial, who are like a global player in logistics. And we've also managed to build a team, right? And I think the interesting about our team is what's great to see is like top talent coming to an organization. So we managed to find individuals from top tier firms in their functions, but also relevant to e-commerce. And of course, having a growing client list who are very interested in our technology helps. So long answer to how old is Penny Black. But yeah, young company, but I think we are well on our way to being more mature.
It's fantastic and look, well done. And as I say, genuinely, I think it's one of the most innovative things that I've seen. You will be under a lot of pressure because I'd say you're constantly contacted by people that want to integrate, which is, and most of those people will probably be within the Shopify ecosystem or the Magento ecosystem. So I wish you well with that. That's you're going to have a full-time job managing the inbounds. Doug, I would love to catch up with you in about 12 months' time, just to look back on 12 months and look back on 12 months' growth and see how the product has developed. So we'll arrange that.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, that'll be very, very good to do that.
Perfect. But listen, in the meantime, next time you're in Dublin, look me up, and really, really enjoy this. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. All of our episodes are available on Spotify, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. A special note of appreciation goes to our sponsors, Rewind.io, the leading backup solution for Shopify store owners. Get your first month of Rewind for free by simply responding to any welcome email once you sign up for your free trial on Rewind.io. If you're a Shopify user with an exciting story to tell, reach out to the team on podcast@milkbottlelabs.com. Until the next time, take care.